Welcome to the Princess Experience. My name is Kieran Haslam and we're going to be diving into the X95 on this, the second episode in the Princess Experience series. The series is designed to bring the world of Princess to you in the absence of boat shows and our usual interaction with the outside world. And in this specific episode, we're going to dive deeply into the all-new radical X95 Superfly. Our exclusive walkthrough on the X95 will explore all areas of the yacht. Annie Reid is going to join us to discuss the Princess Design Studio, and we'll also be video conferencing from the Marine Conservation Society Jean-Luc Solante. At the end of this episode, we're going to be hosting a deep dive webinar on the X95. The details on how to register for that webinar are on screen now. Right now, we're going to take our first look at the X95 with Simon Colebrook and Ross Gill.
So here you find us on the aft deck of the X95, and today we're at sea, which is a really nice way to show the boat. Normally it's at a boat show or on a pontoon. So if you hear some background noise, that's the engines obviously and the generators running, so it gives you a good impression of what this boat is like. As with most Princesses, two ways of entering the aft deck. We've got a really large seating area here. The table has a removable centre section, so you can have the occasional dine-in or gin and tonic terrace, as it were. All the family can sit out here and eat. Good width side decks, and on this side we actually have the third station pop-out helm. So when you're bringing the boat in, med style, you can drive from back there. Nice useful wash locker, as well as some storage under there, all incorporated into this into the optional extra bar. Bar has a nice pull-out drawer, an ice maker, as well as more storage and another sink. But nice way to entertain your guests back here. More lockerage on underneath the stairs. Your emergency bilge pumps are there, engine shut-offs, as well as more storage for shoes and other items like that. Saloon layout here the owner's gone for is the L shape. This can be a U-shaped seating. Got some rather lovely occasional chairs aft, as well as obviously the coffee table. On the starboard side we have a pop-out 65-inch television, and then obviously drop blinds for the night, but big windows to let in that natural light. This gentleman's gone for the two occasional chairs looking out of that solid large window. This also could be the optional sliding patio doors, which will be mirrored on the opposite side, and you can also have an optional bar unit here. Here we have the servery, which has got another ice maker and more storage. Dining table, this can be extended should you need to. It's a nice size when it's round for the occasional use, but can be opened up to sit 10 people. Looking out on that big portrait window, which also has next to it the side entrance for when you're moored side to, or if crew are coming through and need to use a different way than the aft doors. Into the galley. Two large sub-zero fridges, a good sized pantry just inside the door there. A range of cookware can be specified to meet whatever needs the owner has, and then good storage outboard each side, or inboard that side, outboard that side, and then the crew entrance. So you slide a door across here, crew can come and go, bring provisions on without interrupting the guest flow. And if we go back outside, we'll hand over to Simon, who can take you from the saloon into the master.
Thanks, Ross. Well, we'll continue now. You've got a really nice day head. And then as you come forward into this cabin, on the starboard side, you have a really nice vanity unit, and then storage all the way along this side of the cabin. And that incorporates the glasses, tumblers and wine glasses that go with the fridge that's fitted in this cupboard here. So one of the other features in this cabin that we've paid a lot of attention to when we designed the boat is the amount of glazing and the amount of natural light that we get into this space. We've also designed the bow of the boat so that there are these cutaway sections so you can see the horizon when you're underway, and there's a very nice private and very sheltered seating area forward that you can see through the window there. We have a 55-inch TV on a rise and fall mechanism here, and there's an electric blind that will completely close off this window, so when you need privacy it's there at the touch of a button. Really generous double bed with storage underneath it, and then on this port side You can either set it up like this, which is a slightly more formal arrangement with 2 chairs and a table, or you can have a chaise longue with storage underneath, a bit more relaxed. And then just behind me here, we have the ensuite bathroom. And again, this has these incredible freeform sinks mounted into a floating vanity unit. All the stone is the choice of the owner, so you specify this very much as you would like it. You can have underfloor heating. Then on the inboard side, we have a separate WC closet, and on the outboard side, a really nice big walk-in shower with a view. We'll just walk out of the cabin, and I can show you these wardrobes. So there really is plenty of stowage space on this boat with this suite of wardrobes both sides.
Thank you to Simon and Ross aboard the X95. And now we're joined by our Head of Sales and Head of Princess Design Studio, Annie Reid. Annie, are you okay?
Kieran, I'm good, thanks.
Great. Annie, for the uninitiated, let's start at the very beginning. What is the Princess Design Studio?
On most of the boats that we work with, we offer a service where we can look at what the customer wants, and in special requests, that could be from fabrics to child safety gates, outdoor cinemas. There's a huge scope really of things that we can offer the customer specific to their needs and how they live whichever part of the world they're in.
How does it start and how does that journey progress?
The journey usually starts with a request from a customer that is something that's in their mind that they need or they really want. And then it's up to us to look at that and make that come to life and do it in a way that's very practical, that fits in with the build of the boat, doesn't affect the styling of the boat, and gives the customer what they're asking for.
Let's talk a little about the origins of the Princess Design Studio.
So we've always been offering non-standard options to a degree to our network and our customers. And we've also been working on interior schemes, cushions, fabrics, how you want your interior to look. What we decided to do then, when we introduced M-Class into the business around 2010, was to look at how we put an umbrella over that and bring it together so that when a client comes in, it feels seamless, that they're talking about special requests, and then it leads on to the stones, the fabrics, the interior touches that they want to finish the boat.
And are you seeing like a real directional shift in what people want out of a princess? Has it changed over the last few years?
I think so. It's much more about lifestyle now, and people are not looking at their boats as a way to just go off and escape for a day. They're looking at it becoming an extension of the way that they live in their residential properties and being able to really have their families on board and enjoy that time together.
We've had many requests over many years with customers wanting specific things. Can you talk us through some of the more interesting requests that we've either had to turn down or been able to deliver?
There are some real styling items that have been asked for, like the night sky. So it's a series of LED lights and a constellation in particular that was requested, which we did. And it was very, very difficult and detailed, and we were really conscious of being criticised for it not being quite right, but it came off and everyone was really pleased, including the client.
And specifically on the X95, we know this is a product where many customers are a little overwhelmed. It's a large space to enjoy and to design and make your own with your unique stamp. But we've also got a lot of options on that product. Can you talk to us a little bit about what those options are?
We designed the boat with a lot of initial options that were standard, and we did this because we felt that customers would actually like the choice and the different arrangements that you could have, different seating areas, maybe more casual or more formal depending on how you want to use the boat. What that's really done is given customers an opportunity to actually see that this is really flexible and we could do a lot more if they ask, which they've done.
If you walk through the first X95 and then go immediately through the second X95, they are uniquely different offerings, aren't they? So can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, they're both very individual, different customers with very different lifestyles, and that's led to some very different choices. So on boat one, you have someone who wants to have a gym facility on board because they're going to be away for a couple of weeks and being at the gym is very important to them. They have their family on board a lot, so the safety of small children was quite a concern. So there are some concealed safety gates on the boat. They know exactly how they want to use that boat, which has led to the development of the outdoor cinema, which is something which other customers are now asking us for. So by working with the client, understanding their needs, they've actually helped us to develop something that other customers really want that we didn't perhaps see.
So thank you very much for joining us, Annie.
Thank you, Kieran.
That was Annie Reid, Head of Sales and of the Princess Design Studio as well. And now we're going to go through the lower deck of the X95 and we're going to join Ross and Simon aboard.
Okay, so here you find us in the lower deck master cabin of the X95. On this side the owner's got this beautiful large seating area. Alternatively, should you want more storage, this can be a full length storage unit as well. Our traditional big brother windows there, giving us a beautiful view this morning of Whitsand Bay. Behind me, you've got the entrance onto your ensuite, which has a separate stall, and we'll show you a bit later, a really nice full height rain shower with these big windows that you can drop a blind to have some privacy, but you can, if you're at an anchorage like this, you can have a beautiful view in the morning. Decent sized bed right in front of me, under storage drawers, and then if we move over to where Simon is on the other side of the cabin.
This really is a very generous cabin. The boat has a 6.7 metre beam, and we've got just about that much beam down here in this cabin. You have a really, really well appointed vanity unit here with an adjustable mirror, so everything's thought about in this boat, all the comforts and of home. Big storage area here with cupboards and drawers, and that leads you into a very generous walk-in wardrobe. We have full height hanging, half height hanging, drawer storage and shelves in there.
Okay, so here we are in the ensuite for the master cabin. As you can see, as with our Y-class boats, the X-class is the same. The bathroom sits between the engine room bulkhead and the master cabin, and that gives us that extra bit of sound deadening. It's worth pointing out that our generators are running now, so the volume you hear is basically as noisy as it gets on board this boat. Our new style freeform sinks, which are really rather nice. Instead of having it above the unit, they're now sunk into it. Good storage underneath. Feet can fit underneath, so when you're washing, you're not having to stand back. Medicine cabinet on the WC side, which is inboard, and then outboard we have our shower with that rain shower head. And the big window to look out to sea.
So we're going to leave the owner's cabin in the lower deck, and I'm going to take you through now forward into the VIP forward cabin. Just a few things to point out on the way. You can specify an optional washer dryer in that space under the stairs. And one of the really important things in this boat, one of its unique features, is that this deck, as with the main deck and as with the flybridge deck, are all on one level. So no steps up and down, no change in levels. Opposite me now, we have twin guest cabins, and those can be configured with bunks that slide together and apart again. So depending on the guests you have, you've got real flexibility to accommodate them. Both of those cabins have their own ensuite bathrooms. So now I'm going to hand you over to Ross, who's in the forward VIP.
So this is actually probably my favourite cabin on board the boat, considering we're underneath the foredeck. These cabins can often be quite dark, but with our large windows running down each side, it feels like a real nice, light, airy space. By pushing out all of our furniture outboard, not only do we get useful storage under here, it also puts everything further outboard and gives you, the sense of space that you can walk around in here. We have our ensuite, and that window line continues all the way through. Rain shower, choice of stones, our freeform sinks are still there, but just a really nice space to put your guests or members of the family.
Okay, so we're here now with a very exciting opportunity to speak to Jean-Luc Solant of the Marine Conservation Society. So Jean-Luc, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. It's an absolute delight to have you on video conference with us now. Would you like to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do at the Marine Conservation Society to kick off?
The Marine Conservation Society is a charity that's been going since about 1978 under various guises, but essentially has three programs, one on pollution and litter, one on fisheries and one on biodiversity and marine protected areas, which is the team within which I sit.
Great. And we've been working collaboratively with the Marine Conservation Societies back in the start of 2015 is when I think I first started to have conversations with you and your team. Do you want to talk a little bit about how we've worked together with you and your team?
Yeah, it's really delightful to have the collaboration with Princess, because even though you are an industry, and some may say it's a dirty industry, the recreational boating industry, it exists. We like to have fun at sea. We've got to be practical and pragmatic about these issues. So how can we make boating more sustainable is, I think, what you're interested in and what I'm interested in. And many of our marine protected areas in the United Kingdom and overseas have, for example, seagrass beds, these wonderful meadows under the seas, which are more efficient per unit area at capturing and locking down carbon. And with our Princess, we started to establish a relationship with yachters and small boat owners in Corsand Bay in Plymouth itself, where Princess is based. And we've already put in 5 moorings which stop damage to the seagrass beds by raising the whole riser chain system off the seabed, which is, we've already dived in and seen successful regrowth of the seagrass. So we hope to be doing that project for a number of years further to see the long-term impacts of that. What I like about our collaboration is we're starting to think about different ways of working together, and the boating sector itself and your work and how you can talk to your customers can help just progress something we call in our industry behaviour change. So when people do come across a place like a seagrass bed, if you've been talking to them from within the industry and me as a partner, we can say, maybe you want to think about dropping your anchor somewhere else. Maybe you want to think about using a mooring that's not damaging the seabed. And these conversations start the thing changing in earnest, as much as the legislation that we've also had an impact on.
That's great. Jean-Luc, we'll leave it there for now. Hopefully we'll continue to have more conversations with you throughout the series. It's always a pleasure. It's been great over the last couple of years, and long may it continue. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll encourage all of our viewers to visit the MCS on your website. The details are on the screen to explore more about what you guys are doing and how we work together with you. Thank you once again.
Pleasure.
So here we are in the engine room of the Princess X95. I'm stood on the starboard side, just outboard of the starboard engine. This boat's powered by 2 MAN V12 1900 horsepower diesel engines through conventional shaft arrangement. And the hull form combined with this power pack is really delivering on the efficiency we'd hoped for with the X95. At lower speeds, she's giving a fantastic range, the best range we have in our model lineup at the moment. And she's really built for high volume, extended cruising, in comfort and in style. So behind me here in the forward starboard corner, we've got the ACEA unit, which is optional on the X95, but it's nice to know that there's space in this engine room to install it. And that basically gives you world cruising capability with the ability to plug your shore cord in anywhere in the world, and it manages your power frequency and your voltage to service the entire boat. And that's water cooled as well, which is a nice feature and means that we can put it in the engine room without any problems. Behind me here, outboard on the starboard side, we have one of the 2 generator sets that you get as standard on the X95. It's the first, as you progress through the range at the moment, to feature 2 generator sets as standard. They're both 40 kilowatts, and you have the ability to upgrade them to 50 kilowatts if you're going for a larger specification X95. Back here in the starboard aft corner of the engine room, you can just about see the end of the passerelle, which extends a long way past the transom bathing platform and gives you plenty of clearance for when the boat is moored stern to. I've got a fuel polishing system here with AC and DC pump, which allows you to transfer fuel between the 3 tanks that all sit along the centre line of the boat in the bilges. The fuel capacity on this boat is 13,400 litres, and as I said, we're seeing a fantastic range out of that fuel capacity. Above me here is the secondary escape route out of the engine room, up this ladder and through the hatch in the cockpit deck. This is the hydraulic pack that services most of the hydraulic systems on the boat. So you've got the 2 anchor windlasses up on the bow, you've got the optional stabiliser fins, and you've also got your bow and stern thrusters, all controlled by this system. One other important thing to say about the stabilizer system is the actuator location. That's actually here in the engine room in the forward corners, and that provides even more comfort for the guests with a lot less noise down in the lower deck master cabin. Over on the port side here above the second generator, we've got a 4 chiller stage system for the air conditioning system. And basically that gives you a really large capacity of air conditioning as standard to cope with all of the heavy glazing on this boat and all of the volume that this boat offers as well. This door behind me here leads through to the crew area, and as you can see, quite easy to pass through. And again, it's got the visual port in the top section here, so if you are inspecting the engine room, you don't actually have to come into the engine room. But coming through the engine room door of the X95, and behind me here on the port side is the staircase leading up to the primary access port side door off of the port side deck. Behind me here are laundry facilities within these cabinets. You've got a separate dryer above and washing machine below. And after the laundry, we've got our first crew cabin. So on the port side, this cabin's designated to the crew. You've got crew member above, crew member below on good sized berths with a storage drawer underneath, side loading lockers above, and a fantastic sized window outboard of the top bunk with opening port light for natural ventilation. There's also a double door hanging locker behind me, which is mirror fronted as well, which makes life for the crew just a little bit easier in the morning. Back here in the crew mess, you've got a lovely finished walnut table here, which is big enough for 3 people to sit around and enjoy a meal or relax of an evening after a long day out on the water, looking after their guests. Above this area, without intruding into the head height, you've got some storage lockers above with AV concealed in the central locker, and you can also include a 32-inch TV down here above the table just to make life for the crew a little bit more enjoyable in the evenings. After the mess area, we have a kitchenette with sink above, storage and rubbish below, and a 150 litre refrigerator on the port side. Above you've got the microwave oven and a little more storage above as well. Now in this aft bulkhead here, just to starboard of the kitchen, we've got the access door into what is the shared crew toilet with separate shower stall on the port side, toilet and then wash basin on the starboard side. Behind me here is the standard arrangement captain's cabin. So you've got a much larger berth for the captain with the option to put a berth above as well for a 4th crew member. And separate bathroom, again, with independent shower compartment. So you've got 2 bathrooms for the crew with independent showers, which again is really great on a boat this size. So to summarise things down here in the crew and the engine room of the X95, they really are delivering on what the X95 is all about. You've got a large enough engine room to accommodate all of the features you might need for extended cruising periods in comfort and with plenty of redundancy to be out on the water for those longer periods. The crew accommodation is vast enough to give you multiple configurations depending on how you want to crew the boat and how you plan on using the boat once it's out on the water. Whether it be sat in the beach club, enjoying the sunshine with that transformer extended all the way out into the water, or loading up the garage with all the toys and heading out for those cruises further afield.
And Simon, I thought it would be interesting to talk about where we've come from on this boat.
Yeah, I think you know, we were challenged as a team to produce something really different for Princess, something that's a departure from our normal design. And I think what we've achieved on the X95 is we have got so much space, indoors and outdoors, into a 95-foot boat, just by using this 3-deck, no change in level philosophy. We've maximised all the volume in the boat, and as you can see, you just look into this fantastic space behind us. You know, you can configure that as you want as an owner.
So what this owner's done is put some loose furniture up here. We've had people who want to do this opposite, so you've got facing settees, sun lounges, you've got that nice glass balustrade all the way around so you can see out when you're cruising. But of course you could put a tender up here as well. So not only a tender on the pavement platform, but a tender up here, and we can incorporate a really rather nice looking davit. So not like a big chunky crane, a nice sculptured davit that will go into these side wing stations. And when you have that, you obviously, the wing stations create all your storage. So Simon, I think you've got a grill underneath your side.
Yeah, we have, yeah. So this one is specified with the barbecue. You are really well set up here to entertain and just make the best use of this space and enjoy it. And in the headlining above me on this boat, the customer specified a drop-down TV. So if you want to watch the Grand Prix or whatever it is you'd like to watch, you can do that in this area as well.
But really nice to have a round table, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
nice and sociable, everyone's together.
Sociable.
Yeah, enjoyable. We've actually had one client who specified to put a cinema screen up here as well. So yeah, it's that space we were talking about before. Yeah, you can utilise it as you see fit for your friends and family. Let's go and take a look on the foredeck. So we walk down this one level side deck, and as you can see, it's a decent width. I know I'm not the biggest of people in the world, but there's plenty of room outside of me. Pop out door from the helm station, and then also your wing station. Bring the boat in, you can lean over the side here and you've got great visibility all the way down the side of the boat. Got thrusters on there, as well as of course the engine controls. Now this area is very similar to what the 35 metre was, and all the good aspects of that, which went down very well with many clients, is incorporated into this 95. Optional jacuzzi. You have to use your imagination. Obviously we're in Plymouth at the moment, but in the sunnier climates this is a real treat.
This is the Sky Lounge. Now this is a space where you can get away from it all, just relax. It's quiet, and if you've had a long day in the sun, nothing better than to come in here, put the air conditioning on and just relax. If you follow me in, it's beautifully appointed, and you've got glazing, full glazing in this roof area here, and the natural light is diffused by these features that you can see here. Nice big settee here on the starboard side, and then a bar area in the centre there. So again, you're well set up. You've got refrigeration, storage and ice making facilities if you want. These doors, these pocket doors here, will close so that when the boat's being run and the crew are operating the boat, they can be completely separate from this space. So you can still enjoy your privacy up here. And then on this side, we have a 55-inch pop-up TV. And if a customer wants to, we can specify this area as a day head. So you can have a WC here, and that means that you don't have to travel. It is only a short distance, but you don't have to travel that short distance down below.
So for more information about the X95, you can join us at the end of this episode for an exclusive webinar. And the details on how to register and take part in that are on screen now. Now, from the modernity of the X95 being manufactured at our Southyard facility to the history of Southyard dating back to 1766, we're going to be exploring the facility with Bill Barrow, who's going to talk to us a little bit about our heritage.
We live in a part of the world where shipbuilding and boat building has been a tradition. When you first arrive in Southyard, you look at the history, you look at what's around you, you look at the buildings, you realise that something very special has actually gone on here. We're sat this afternoon in the gazebo, which is an amazing small building. You can probably get an idea from the design of the windows and the detail. Originally built for George III to inspect his fleet. Ships have been built on this site since 1650, and that goes through timber sailing ships, steel ships, warships, all boats of that era, with the last Navy ship being built here in 1967. And that craftsmanship has really washed on down through. This site was pretty redundant to the Navy. It's old. It's developed around technology in 1700, 1760, 1800. So for us, a big, open, clear site was a fantastic opportunity to gain waterfront accessibility for building our new big boat product. We did have to do a vast amount of work when we arrived here. Like behind us, the ropery. It's designed specifically for making rope. The beauty about it is it's a very old and historic building, but it is put to absolutely today's state-of-the-art use. So the top floor of that ropery over there is for mock-ups. So any new product we're going to build, we build in full scale, and that gives us a fantastic space to do that. The ground floor is used for upholstery, so our upholstery is manufactured through there. Most naval dockyards of this type with this type of history are now museums, or their apartment blocks, or their restaurants. You know, they've lost the core of what they were originally designed and built for. And this site was designed and built for building ships. The slipway, which was the biggest slipway in any of the naval dockyards, we've taken off around about 200 feet of that to make it suitable for an aquatic hoist. And we can lift on this hoist up to 267 tons. So we can move a pretty big boat around in the facility. Alongside number one slip, we have shallow dock. Today, it is our finishing dock for big product. So X95 is finished and commissioned there. It's a fantastic facility. It's very well protected from the weather and allows us, with service pontoons in there, to finish a proper boat, afloat, ready to go, drop the sill, out and away.
So that was our fantastic South Yard facility, and now right here we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, International Sales Manager Bill Barrow. Bill.
Kieran, good to see you. Good to be with you.
Thank you. And I know him as Sketchy Mike, but that is nothing in relation to his character. It's entirely because he's one of the most gifted illustrators that I've come across in my time. He's our principal designer here at Princess, Mike Jones.
Hi Kieran, great to be here.
We've got many questions which have come in from our viewers so far, mostly around the X95, and who better to answer those questions than you guys. We're going to start right off firing straight away with how many X95s have we actually sold, as one viewer has asked.
Well, it's been a remarkable success as a boat. Got to bear in mind that we've got slot 2 just into slot 3, just hit the water. And we've sold to date 12 of them, which is basically off plan and off our mock-up. You remember we took the mock-up to Dusseldorf?
Yeah.
Fantastic way of seeing the inside of the boat. So those tools have enabled us to sell 12 to date, but with many more inquiries that we're working on at present.
Mike, it's been interesting for you as well, because in addition to being the principal designer here at Princess, you're also really front and center of all of these non-standard option requests that come in, and the X95 is certainly a boat where customers can express that. How have you gone with the first 12 products in regards to NSOs?
There's been lots of NSO requests, which is the official route to looking for something different. Those requests have been very varied, from the very simple all the way through to the, for example, on one of the boats we've done a gym in the lower accommodation. We've changed different parts of cabins to have windows closed, replaced with bookcases, all sorts of things. It's been very varied.
And Bill, the requests, are they coming in fast and furious, or in terms of what we've got as almost off-the-shelf bespoke offering on the X95, it's quite a boat with lots of tick box features that you could explore.
The standard options list is huge, and I think the reality of it is most customers will be able to find what they want out of the standards options list. The boat comes as standard as a country kitchen and main deck layout, which is a completely open boat. But then you could have instead of that, you could have a main deck master, you could have a cinema room, and you develop on from there. The options list will fit most owners' requirements. But having said that, as with so much in Princess, we're happy to explore other opportunities that a customer may really want in his bespoke yacht from Princess.
I mean, those options break down even further. So, for example, in the saloon, you can have lots of different configurations with the sofas, the dining tables, occasional seating, optional bar internally.
Yeah, bars, serveries, all sorts.
Exterior
of,
bar and an exterior servery
layouts.
in the cockpit. Various options, layout options on the flybridge. Both interior and exterior. So I think we've got it covered this time.
A viewer has asked more specifically about the exterior of the X95 and the extraordinary hull shape, and made the comment that it's something that you would just not expect from Princess in terms of the design philosophy of Princess, and a bit of a radical departure. But they've asked to explain why we've gone for that hull form in terms of seakeeping and stability.
Oh, it's a really good question, because it is completely different from anything that we've done before. We've got a wave-piercing bow. We've got an extended transom on it. We've built a boat to sit below the 24-metre rule, so that any customer could actually run that boat. It's just like running a 62 or a 65 or even a 55. It doesn't fit into large yacht code, so you haven't got manning requirements. But I think above all, you haven't got design constraints, because if you're looking at a large yacht code boat, then there are many, many factors in its design that we have to follow. With the 95, we can be a little bit more free in what we do. And to the customer, that extra waterline is giving him range, it's giving him performance, it's giving him speed. But above all, something that's really, how key to the heart it is. And that's all about performance. The interior of the boat, is it comfortable in a seaway? And with the X95, we've produced an incredible boat that will perform, give confidence to the customer in a big seaway, and yet still have all those magic Princess features. So it handles beautifully. Its quality is fantastic. It's a great boat to basically cover distance with.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today.
Kieran, pleasure to join you.
Absolute pleasure.
And that was Mike Jones, Principal Designer, and Bill Barrow, International Sales Manager here at Princess Yachts. And they'll both be joining me shortly for our webinar, taking a deeper dive into the X95. If you haven't already registered, then jump onto our Facebook Live events page and do so. And we look forward to seeing you either in the webinar or in the next episode of the Princess Experience. Thank you.